This is Link, and you are listening to Lynk-On Media Podcast. Today, I got a special guest, one of my oldest friends, Logz. How's it going, man?
Good, man. How's it going? All's well with you?
Just living the married life,
Yeah. Some people have all the
trying,
luck.
yeah. Happy wife, happy life. Just trying to keep
Yes.
on the right side of everything so I don't,
All right. Well, as long as you stick to that, yeah, I think you should be fine.
yeah. I think a key to like sort of a happy marriage is whenever you do something wrong, just make sure you have like a really comfortable couch with good lumbar support, TV's right there, just make sure.
Sounds like you have a lot of experience.
Not a lot of experience. I've been pretty good. I've been
All right,
really,
that's good.
I've
Yeah.
settled down in my old age of 60.
That's good to hear.
So,
That's
yeah.
good to hear.
Comic-Con just happened this weekend, and apparently there's like a whole slew of new content that's coming up. Marvel just unleashed one of their and it's been a minute since Marvel kind of just
Okay.
unloaded like an entire
Everything. Yeah.
like their whole plan of how's it gonna go.
Yeah. I'm
And
I'm actually surprised because phase 4 happened quicker than I thought.
yeah, it's done after Black Panther. That's it for phase 4.
Yeah. It's crazy. I didn't even think about it because I was like, I'm not gonna have an Avengers movie for a long time. And I was like, wait,
It's like, nope,
phase
just
4 is done.
a couple years,
Yeah.
years, and then they're back in the Avengers, and I think they're rushing it.
You think so? Because of the ratings? Trying to get that
No,
money back?
no, because of the Thor special effects. I mean, talk about rushed. But anyways, we're gonna get to that. So today we'll talk about the new Marvel trailers that and Marvel announcements that came out, as well as Thor: Love and Thunder, maybe a little bit of Phase 4 and Resident Evil.
Who? Was it what?
Resident Evil. Oh God.
It was residential evil? Yeah.
Yeah, man. Talk about Resident Evil. Just I think that franchise is Resident Evil. Like the name is itself, because what they do in the movies and the TV shows and all of that property. I mean, I shudder to think. Like, is America still mad at Japan for Pearl Harbor? Because they keep ruining Japanese
every
material.
Good Japanese game. Everything.
And
they
manga.
Americanize the hell out of it and just ruin it.
Dog, did you see Cowboy Bebop?
The series?
The series, man.
I couldn't pass episode 1.
And I enjoyed the show because I just like schlock, but
Right.
it's desecration. It's complete desecration
I could not
anime.
get past episode 1. I was just like, what is this foolishness that I'm looking at? Like, it was so bad.
Spike Spiegel, man. John Cho tries. I'll give him that.
John Cho was good.
Yeah, but as a show, there was just a lot that just wasn't working. The special effects were good though.
Yeah, okay, fine, yeah. But I think when they transition from Japan or wherever else on the other side, and they just try to put their own spin on it for some reason, just to try to make it to Americanize it a little more. I don't know. For some reason, it doesn't translate well, and they use the same. It seems like they use the same formula every time, and it's just garbage.
It's the culture that gets lost in translation, because there's things about like Cowboy Bebop or Attack on Titan or wherever that is extremely Japanese, and when you see it in an American context, it just you're sort of
weird.
like, okay, what is this? Is it a joke? Is this a comedy?
Yeah.
What am I supposed to go with that? And then on top of that,
but if you're taking, all right, so if you're taking basically, all right, so it's like the Ring, the original Ring, right, was great. The one that they did on the American side, it wasn't, it was okay. It wasn't the Ring, but I guess that was something easier to translate over to the American society than it was for manga or anime or something like that.
But anyways, let's start with the Marvel rollout that they just came out with. I mean, a lot of it just looks
It's plain. It's nothing significant.
yeah.
I didn't
Well,
see. I didn't see anything there to do with the Eternals, though. Or was I wrong?
Well, there in phase 6, there are a few spots open. So I assume it's
that's
for
true. Yeah, sure.
it's for mutant stuff and Spider-Man
X-Men.
stuff. Yeah. Well, they're calling it the mutant. Well, they haven't really came out and said what they're going to do with X-Men, but there was a comment that the producer made a while ago. Alonzo, I forgot her first name, but there was a producer that's been with Marvel since day one, and she basically says there are women in the X-Men. It's a little bit outdated. That's the mindset we're sort of dealing with right now. I'm not really looking forward to what they do with the X-Men. I think Hugh Jackman is the best that we're gonna get. I do not
from a Wolverine standpoint.
Yeah, Wolverine and Friends. I mean, that's basically what those movies were. But I mean,
you remember nobody. Ain't nobody remember anybody from those movies. Apart from maybe Professor X and Magneto. You would remember those two.
And Halle Berry.
How could you forget Halle? Halle's Halle, though, so she doesn't count.
She doesn't really do much in those movies, by the way. She just kind of stands there. They don't give her anything to do.
She's black and she's,
yeah, well,
she's almost pushed into the background.
I'm not looking forward to any of the shows. I think I've been very disappointed in a lot of the Disney Plus TV shows.
The Hawkeye one was good. Loki was good, but I thoroughly enjoyed the Loki one. I mean, it didn't have. It's not like it didn't have its faults, but I enjoyed it. I guess Tom did a great job because he's
absolutely
on screen.
I agree with that.
So there were a couple of things that didn't make sense, but whatever. That's what y'all want to do with it or go with it. And the Hawkeye one, it was okay. It was a little drawn out, but it was okay.
Yeah, it was kind of fluff. I think all of them are kind of drawn out to a point. Like I felt like if there were the story was more condensed, I felt like I would have liked them more. I just felt like there's certain episodes where it is kind of filler, and it's weird because it's 6 episodes and 2 of them are kind of filler. That's kind of how the Disney Plus thing kind of feels. And it's very weird.
There was an episode on Loki that was just like, why is this even here? Like you didn't need to put this in. It's like episode 5 or 6 or something like that.
It's the one with Sylvie, right? Where it's basically just them at the end
on the planet.
Yeah, and that planet was about to get destroyed, and
that didn't need to be there.
It's supposed to be like character development and all that, but I just
you could have done that in half a show. So you split it up into half a show, maybe even a quarter of the show, or something. But that it didn't need a whole episode. That was just dragging out. That was just like a filler episode. You didn't even need it. It was unnecessary. There was no character development after that.
Yeah, it kind of killed my enthusiasm for that show. Although Richard E. Grant as old Loki was phenomenal. I loved that scene. I wish there was more of him. So it just, absolutely probably one of the best things about that show. And then it kind of just peter off. I'm not really looking forward to Kang being the new bad guy. There isn't really anything there.
I love Kang.
And I guess in the comic books,
maybe I should say I love the character. I love the actor that's playing Kang. He played him well.
He's
in the short,
good.
in the short split that he had on Loki. I was like, it was so captivating. I was like, yes, I can see you as a villain, even though he wasn't like a villain there. but I could see you as a potential villain to what I know Khan is. Khan the Conqueror
Okay.
is.
All right.
Right?
I got you. I like him. Like I've seen him in there's this movie called The Last Black Man in San Francisco, and he's phenomenal in that.
Yes.
Probably one of the best performances of that year. And that movie kind of flew under the radar for a lot of people. Radar. So if anybody's listening, watch that movie. It's phenomenal.
Yeah. He's a really good, he's an underrated actor.
Right, exactly. Absolutely underrated. I think my favorite of the Disney Plus Marvel shows is Moon Knight.
You liked Moon Knight?
I liked Moon Knight, except for the final episode. I think the final episode kind of killed it for me. I was like, oh, come on, man. Like the when Moon Knight was about to do the final fight, and then he trips out like how he usually does. He kind of switches to the next personality.
Yeah.
And you don't see the final fight. Like I knew Disney was cheap, but good God, man.
You said I knew Disney. Isn't that part of the law?
You do that in your first or second episode. You don't do that in your final.
Yeah, so you build up the hype. You're like, oh my God, what's happening? When did this happen? Because they did it in the first, was it the first episode?
It was the first episode.
Where he tripped up and he came back in and he killed all those guys. And he was like, right? And then
I loved it.
So, right, it was great. So you're like, well, what's happening? Where did he go? So in the end, you're not supposed, you should see it.
Yeah, you should see the final fight, but then
you should see pieces of the fight.
Yeah. But they wanted to keep that personality because it's the assassin personality that takes over around that time. And I think keeping that a secret until like the end credit scene is a big mistake. They shouldn't have done that. It kind of ruins the show. But other than that, I really like that show, even though a lot of it felt like a really fake Raiders of the Lost Ark kind of thing. It felt like The Librarian. You ever seen The Librarian? It's a knockoff of Indiana Jones, and it's like cheap. And
that's what it was.
Yeah, it looks so cheap, and I was like, come on, man, you guys are Disney.
It felt like your classic guy has amnesia, and he's this he's an assassin, or he's a trained killer, and all of a sudden you have a friend who can help him get his memory back.
Right.
And they're going to go through all these adventures, and then he's slowly but surely going to get his memory back, and he has his muscle memories for everything. He's like, how did I do that? It felt like that. That's what it felt like.
It's Indiana Jones Fight Club.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's yeah.
Yes. That's actually accurate.
Yeah. But it could have been a lot better. Like, I think Moon Knight is such a cool character. They still dragged it. They still dragged it. I didn't like the fight, the final fight scenes. Not the final ones. The one where they were fighting in Egypt and they had the gigantic monsters. What the hell was that? Where did that come from? They didn't even set that up.
There was no setting up for any of those things.
I was so confused.
I watched it.
Thank you for reminding me that.
What am I watching? Power Rangers. Yeah, this was Power. It was Power. It felt like Power Rangers. I was like, what is happening? Why is there what? Okay, all right. It was interesting. I didn't understand that, but I mean, I guess you wanted this big scene where the gods were fighting, but you didn't have to make them big.
But it didn't really. Yeah, they shouldn't have made them big. They should have kept that fight like more ground level. They should have had a little bit more reality to it. I think that's my biggest.
It just seemed over the top.
Yes,
even for no Marvel.
Reason. Yeah, for no reason. I mean, I think that's sort of my problem with the Marvel formula right now, is that everything has to be so heightened, and CGI nonsense has to be like exploding onto the screen like at all times. I think like Shang-Chi, which is one of my more favorable movies.
That was a very good movie.
Yeah, I'm more positive on that one because, well, mostly for the kung fu. Mostly for the kung fu. I think Simu Liu is really good as Shang-Chi. I really
Yes, he is.
liked the villain. Yeah, the supposed Mandarin. Uh,
The
you know
actual
the
Mandarin
yeah the actual
from
what's
from that
supposed to be the Mandarin.
horrible Iron Man movie.
It's an okay Iron Man movie. It's not. I wouldn't say it's horrible,
That was
but that
that
decision
was
was
that
horrible.
was
I would give.
the worst. Okay, yes, the decision was horrible, making it one of the biggest blunders in. I don't even know what to call it because it was the worst thing I've ever seen. Like you just take away a villain and like, oh, I'm just acting as the Mandarin. I'm not really the Mandarin.
And you find that
What?
there's a lot of this baiting and switching because
Yes.
they like I don't know if it's like I don't know if it's the ego of the writer or the fear of oh no people are gonna pick up on what I'm trying to
They're
do
gonna
here.
they're just gonna pick up. They're gonna be like, I'm able to predict the script.
Yeah, as a writer you're setting something up and then at the last minute I think Arya needs to kill the Night King and not Jon Snow, even though we were setting Jon Snow up to be the guy to have that final confrontation. We just and then you didn't set that up, so you're trying to like mold
Mm.
it to be that. All right, let's get to Thor.
Ah!
Those freaking goats, man.
That is all I remember from the movie.
This is all you
Like
remember?
after well, I mean, I remember the shit, but
Yep.
after like the most memorable part of the movie was the goats. Tell me what you really remembered offhand, like
I remember when Christian Bale killed that one god,
in the beginning
and that's the only thing he does in the movie
of
that
the
I can
entire
see.
movie.
And I was very disappointed in that because you actually have a proper villain and you don't even show him do any of the villainy. I don't understand that.
It
I
was
don't
supposed to be
understand.
like a because he worked in the shadows. He uses shadows and monsters, so he was supposed to be working from the background. I don't know. I'm just making this up as I go along. By the way.
Well, so did Taika Waititi.
He had a great villain to work with. They didn't want him to look like um the elves from Thor 2.
From Thor: The Dark World. He
Yeah.
he actually looks like Squidward and Voldemort had a baby,
And they didn't
and
want him to look like Voldemort.
yeah, which I mean he should. I mean, because to be honest, he looks like Christian Pale, like he's
He
just
did.
Christian Bale but pale.
Pale. Like,
Yeah,
just with ash on him. That's it.
yeah, and that's it. But
Yeah.
I
He did a
loved.
good, but Christian Bale did do a good job with what he was given.
Oh yeah, he
Right?
he elevates. He really elevated the material, which he didn't have a lot of. He
No.
really didn't. There wasn't a
And
lot there.
I didn't think the villain, him, when you're a villain, Thanos had a goal. My goal is to make sure that half of the universe is to create balance.
Right. Mm-hmm.
He just wanted to kill the gods because his daughter died.
Which is fine, but just show us that he's actually killing these gods.
Yeah,
Show his brutality.
they were just saying, oh, another god is dead. Oh, this god is dead. That god died. We saw the aftermath of how they died.
Yeah, and it's all really just a big joke.
And it was weird too because you're gods and they're not really putting up much of a fight.
There wasn't any fights. Like there was nothing. It was like you see a lot of dead people. You see Sif. Now, Lady Sif has been out of the Thor movie since the second one,
They
and
don't like
yeah, they really well. She was working on what TV show was she on during that time? She was basically contractually obligated to do a TV show, so she
I
was
mean,
out.
but they don't like Thor's friends in general because they just
No,
killed
no,
them
no.
off.
They killed him off like real quick. Like, boy, they just
They just
eliminate
killed them
them.
off.
Like, what is the fastest way we can get rid of these guys? Which is
Let's just kill them off.
yeah, which was effective because it showed how terrible Hela was. And yet we see her brutality. We see how she takes out people so quickly. And that's what we needed with this one. This movie, it's usually compared to Batman and Robin. And I could completely see it because it's like the Batman Forever actually took certain things seriously. It took the character of Bruce Wayne seriously, even though there's like a bunch
Everything
of
else
jokes and
cartoonish.
Two-Face and everything.
Yeah.
But Val Kilmer was a proper, like, this is what Batman should be. Yeah, proper enough to what Val Kilmer could do. Like, he did the best he could with what he had. And that was Thor Ragnarok for me. Thor Ragnarok was sort of, it's a joke, but you're still getting a proper Thor story. With this one, everything is a complete joke. Like Lady Sif loses an arm, and that is a joke. And then she's, it was
a joke for everything.
On your story, what did you call this movie? It was its own parody.
Yeah, it's a parody of itself.
Yeah,
but it really was a parody of itself. When you think about it, Thor had a substantial character growth, right? Yeah. Already. In Thor 1, he had to lose his powers. He was party Thor, and all these things. So he had to lose his powers, get a little bit of humanity in him, prove he's worthy to protect everyone.
Right.
Thor 2, I mean, that was awful. But I mean, at the same time, Thor 2, he had to save the love of his life. His character development, making him stronger.
There was a lot of character stuff there.
Right. So he had hard choices.
Right.
Right. And Thor 3 become a leader. So, he had, like, in different ones, different roles. So he was he had to become a leader. His father died. And, somebody had to lead the people of Asgard to somewhere. I mean, even though he did say he was going to pass it off, but that was afterwards. But he still had character development. So what happened to all that development in 4?
Well, I'll tell you what. It started, the degradation of Thor started in Endgame when they made him fat.
Yeah. Okay.
They basically, he's fat and playing Fortnite, and like, I understand what they were trying to do. They were trying to keep him in this low state because of what happened. Like, he basically, his decision to not aim for the head causes half of the population of everywhere in the universe to so yeah, of course he's going to take it hard, but he is just a Big Lebowski joke. It's a running fat joke, and even when there are serious scenes happening, somebody has to crack on his weight, and it kills it, man. And then the fourth one, like, okay, I could see he's lived a long life, lost everybody he loves. He's hanging out with the Guardians. Okay, so he's a bit bored. He's doesn't know what next to do with his life. I could understand that because he basically outlives everyone.
Everyone, yeah.
Yeah, everyone he loves and grew up with is dead. Even half of the Avengers are gone now. So what's left for him to do? He's outlived everybody. So I think bringing back Jane Foster was a good idea. On paper, it was a good idea on paper.
I was about to say,
I'm not the biggest fan of female Thor or Lady Thor or the Mighty Thor. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, ladies. Sorry for my misogynistic ways, but there was enough here that you could have really delved into that relationship and make it meaningful, and could have worked. But what do you think?
Video Taj about how they lived a whole life together that we didn't know about, and it was a bad breakup, and he wasn't over the breakup. I guess neither of them were over the breakup, or whatever case may be. Like,
I loved it.
By the way, how Yeah, that was good. It was
I
good,
loved all that.
but I didn't like how they made her the mighty Thor. If that makes sense. Like the hammer was supposed to save her, ended up killing her faster.
Yo, that makes no sense. I try to like rationalize it in my head, my mind canon, where okay, so the hammer is sort of a conduit of the power that the person has, right? Because
Yes.
Thor, he's not like what Anthony Hopkins said. He's not a god of hammers. He's a god of
No,
thunder. So
exactly.
the hammer basically is a conduit of him, right? So if the power
Yes.
comes from you, it drains you. It has to take the power from you. So if you're a human who has cancer, it's gonna suck your life force out. So I'm sure I thought more of that than anybody who wrote this film because I just came up with that. I don't know if
You
it's
say I just
for
came up
sure.
with that.
I really like on the fly. That's what what it looks like to me. No one has confirmed it. But what do you say to that?
It sounds plausible, but it's interesting because I was thinking about. I thought about it too when I was like, so she has the. He made the hammer protect her, but in order to get the protection, she has to turn into Thor. But in order to turn into Thor, she's going to be sucking the life out of her every time she uses the hammer. So then,
Doesn't really protect
what are
her.
you really protecting?
Exactly. So it just makes her cancer worse.
It makes it so. You would think that all right, I have cancer, so I could use the hammer now. I would stay alive longer. It
I,
would give me strength, something.
I think
But
that's
it
what it
didn't
was
do
in the
that.
I think that's what it was in the comics and they changed it. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look
Yeah,
at that
I have to
again.
look. Yeah,
I kind of skipped that era of comic books. Like when as soon as they started making Black Captain America, female Thor, gay Superman, all these they're sort of I mean they could just make new
a new character.
characters that
Yeah,
could
that would be easier. It
and
was
then
too
sort of
easy.
just just sort of build a new character from the ground up, but
Yeah,
you
they
know,
switched everything. Actually, this as you say, Black Captain America, the Falcon Captain America,
yeah,
and Winter Soldier thing.
Winter
That was a
Soldier, yeah.
good series. That
I
series was actually pretty good.
I liked it for them. I like the action. I don't like the villains. I just think that the lead villain, the freckle faced redhead girl, the with
She's nice.
the
I
big
like that.
whatever.
That was a good twist.
She's a good actress, but I just feel like
She
man,
was she was missing something.
like villainy. Like I need that show needed a villain, and there wasn't.
And she wasn't really a an actual villain. She was just fighting for whatever she thought was right.
Yeah, but she killed people though.
I can't kill people for what I think is right.
No, that's a villain. That's what Thanos wanted to do.
Listen,
That's what Killmonger wanted to do. I like Killmonger, but he wants to kill people. He wants to like
Batman kills people.
he kills hitmen. Like hitmen can die. That's what they signed up for. That's what like that's a different. He's killing like uh, human traffickers and people like that. Like you can't compare that.
All right.
But it was
Okay.
bad for Batman too.
All right.
Like that makes Batman bad if he's killing people.
Exactly.
You
But yeah, she was a villain, but it's not a very she didn't have the spunk to be a great villain.
Zemo was great. That's my favorite.
He's
That's
awesome. He's awesome.
he is great on that show.
He's awesome. He's awesome.
I loved him in that show. If it was just him and Bucky and Falcon,
Yeah.
I think that'd be good. That's all it needed. So Logs, can you tell me the plot of this movie?
Is it a serious question?
Well, I'm trying to sort of piece it together. Okay, so
Okay. So, but all right. So, Thor is is, I don't know. Go ahead.
Thor's going through a
midlife
crisis.
crisis.
Midlife crisis. How many thousands of years he's been alive? He's at the
mid-century
crisis. Mid-century mid-millennia crisis.
There we go.
He finds out. Okay, I think he finds out that people are killing gods. Then he saw that Sif was there. He goes and he meets Sif.
Did he?
Yeah, he sees the message that Sif sent out. It was like a Mayday. Everybody was having.
Yeah.
And then the Guardians picked it up, and then the Guardians was like, "We have to get out of this movie now, because we got our movie we got to do. So bye."
Yeah, we can't team up right now. This is for time for us. So you can get your movie, and then we're gonna get our movie. Team up is over.
They teamed up for like 2 minutes. That's all you get. 2 minutes, you're out.
Yeah, that's fine. That was good. I didn't mind that part.
Yeah, it was pretty quick. Like I didn't get a sense of the Guardians. They just sort of like one quip here, one quip there, a little speech about.
To be fair, it was a Thor movie.
The god killer is coming, butchering all these gods. We don't see any of it. Fine, I'm over it. Thor finds out that Earth is next. He goes to Earth, and then he fights one of the most fake-looking battle sequences I've ever seen. Those shadow monsters look like it was colored in with like crayon. It looked cartoony.
Let's not forget those monsters were created by his kids.
Yeah, I read that, and you can. Yeah, I can see it.
See that?
I can see it. I think it was animated by them too. Actually, no, that's mean.
Was it though?
Well, okay. So to be fair, Marvel schedules are absolutely ridiculous. It's the only way they can release 50 movies in 2 weeks. Okay, so animators, and they have to do every single thing. Like all of the Phase 4 movies had quite a lot of CGI they had to do, and not a lot of it looks very well. There are some spots in No Way Home that looks kind of bad because they couldn't get a couple of the actors to come back for the villain roles. I think it was Lizard and Sandman, so they reused old footage of, and it looked like exactly what it was. I mean, I could understand what they had to do. They had limited time. They couldn't,
they couldn't do the reshoots, so we just did what we had to do.
Yeah. And you do get a lot of like same thing with Doctor Strange. The Illuminati scene, it felt exactly like it looked exactly how it felt, that the actors weren't all there. When you see Patrick Stewart, and he's not in the same room with Doctor Strange and the rest of them. He's off.
He's in a completely different place.
Yeah, in some other green basement. And they're shooting bits and pieces. Seeing a lot of these movies and knowing how the sausage gets made, you look at it and you're like, oh my God, none of these people are there. John Krasinski is not there. I don't think even John Krasinski was wearing a suit. His whole suit was CGI, wasn't it?
Yes, because they had to do the expansions body and shit.
And it feels CGI, even though it's pretty good.
No, this was
my mind is
knows,
picking it up like this isn't real. That's kind of how I felt with a lot of the scenes in Thor. Which one is this one? The fourth one.
Love and Thunder.
Love and Thunder. Okay, so that's my thing about the special effects. They just didn't look convincing enough. I think there were some spots which there were some good ideas behind them. Yes. But then you look at them, realize like the black, like the scene where it's all black and white. Remember that fight, that whole fight scene?
Yeah.
It looked bad to me. What do you think?
I like the idea. The idea was nice, but it was just it fell flat. It fell flat on his face. Right? I love the idea. The idea of making like a without color, it's just black and white, and we're fighting, and it's like this doesn't seem like what they were looking for, but they just said, all right, we'll just put it in anyway because that's the best we have.
I did like it when the weapons clashed, and then you're seeing the color.
The color come out. Yeah,
yeah,
that was nice.
There's little touches in there that are pretty cool.
Yeah,
but,
like I said, the idea of it was great.
Yeah,
but it didn't transform that well to the screen.
Yeah, it really didn't come together. And I think the whole I didn't like any of the where they had to go to the city where they had to meet all the gods and everything. You remember that?
Yeah. I didn't
like
even know
any
there
of it.
was a god convention.
Yeah, man. It's it's a literal city of gods. It's
Yeah, like just chilling. And Zeus is basically the almighty, which is a little weird.
Oh yeah, man. Russell Crowe,
No, he was good. Russell Crowe was good.
in theory, it's too jokey. It's too comical. It's too.
The whole movie was too jokey, too comical.
There's too much goat screaming. There's Russell Crowe with his little skirt, and he has to like shimmy his way down. He couldn't just walk
Glide
down normal. Like he had
shimmy.
to. Like,
why was it necessary?
But
it should have been a little bit more like serious at that point, even though they didn't take the threat seriously. Like as Zeus, like I guess it was like the bait and switch, right? So you used to think, all right, Zeus is gonna be the serious guy, all powerful, almighty. Then you come down to it, he's just, hi, here I am. Like what? This is Zeus. All right.
And I don't know if the type of accent that he was putting on, it was like a Greek, like a Greek like club owner or something, like
something like that.
So it was,
because don't forget he's party Zeus. That's who Thor like took
emulated.
His role model. That's his role model.
But I felt like it just stopped the movie to a halt. It was kind of like the casino planet scene in Star Wars, where they just, in the middle of this battle, this whole chase scene,
casino. Okay,
they just go to a casino, and it just completely derails the tone of the movie. It just,
like, what was the point?
What did they even achieve?
Nothing. No, they got Zeus's lightning.
They got which does nothing. I mean, that weapon does...
Apparently it said that that's the reason why Thor was able to give the kids power.
Oh yeah. I did catch that. They didn't really explain it, but if that were the case,
they didn't explain it. But I think that was how he was able to do it.
Sure, I'll take
it. Because if it's not how he was able to do it, then why didn't he just use it when they were fighting Thanos?
Yeah, why? Or any other time where Thor is fighting anyone.
Anyone. So it has to be that, or it could just be, which it wouldn't make sense unless he found out that he had a new power that he's able to do it.
Sure,
but he never used it when he was with Guardians of the Galaxies, though. So it still doesn't make any sense.
I could see Rocket being so pissed, like, wait, you could have done this whole time, and then we're
exactly
like fighting like all of these.
I'm fighting over here with guns, and you just give me powers all the time. Like I could see Rocket giving him a hard time.
I'd be pissed. I would be pissed at Thor. I'm like, you could have given me some of that Thor powers, but
temporarily.
Thor's a dick, man.
Yeah, so I think that was the reason for getting the bolt, is to one, set up the next movie because Hercules is coming after him.
Well, you explained that better than the movie did, so congrats. I'll give you that. So anyway, speaking of very convenient plot points, Gore's whole mission. So he has to go to this place, this magical place, whatever, to get a wish.
Yes.
So another thing, which if people knew about this, I guess they could have wished. I'm sure there are other moments in time where they could have required a wish to get, I can't think of. Oh wait, the Infinity War.
They gave a reason. What was the reason they gave for that? They gave some reason for that. I was like, but if you had this, why wouldn't just Thanos just go after that, just make a wish and kill everybody?
Would have been easier than getting the stones.
It would have been.
Yeah, but the stones don't really matter anyways because free will isn't a thing thanks to Loki.
Well, in the time or the TVA, in the TVA, stones mean nothing. What are stones? They mean nothing compared to time.
They are paperweights.
That's exactly what they are, which is a very interesting way to just throw away some of the most powerful pieces of gems and just have them as paperweights, like nothing. So that means the entire fight with Thanos was for nothing.
It's just they just want to pull the rug from under you. Like, yeah, you want to come in for Mandarin twist. Nothing matters.
Nothing matters. Like, what? What was the whole point then? I mean, I can understand to an extent, but yeah, God, paperweights.
Yeah, but we're getting a little sidetracked.
Yeah, a little bit.
Remember? Okay, so they kidnap. Gorr the God Butcher kidnaps all of the children.
Yes.
Of the Asgardian children. One of the
as bait.
Right. Perfect. Good storyline. I actually love the part where Gorr is like taunting the children by pulling its head off of
that was pretty good. That was
great stuff. What wasn't so great was that one of the kids has Hamdell's powers. It's Hamdell's son.
Because that's his son. Yeah.
Yeah. Axel.
I didn't even know he had a son.
Yeah. Well, I mean, neither did them. They just came up with it.
Threw that shit in there.
I guess they read a Norse mythology book and is like, hey, Hamdell's got a son. Yeah, let's just do that, and let's call him Axel after Axl Rose because Taika Waititi loves
Axl Rose.
Loves Axl Rose. Yeah. And oh my god, one of the worst special effects I've ever seen was when Hamdell's son kind of creates like a version of himself, like he projects his face back to Asgard.
Yes,
it is one of the worst.
Why did they even do that? I didn't understand the why. There was no why. Like I said it and I was like, why? It kind
of came out of nowhere, and it's like
it was unnecessary.
And this is the literal dialogue from that moment when I heard, like, as soon as I saw it, I was like puzzled. And then the literal dialogue was, oh, hey, that's Hamdell's son. And I'm like,
Hamdell's son?
Wait, he has a son? You're just telling us now? And are you familiar with the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers?
Who isn't?
Okay, so the Zordon special effects 10 times better than this movie. 100 times better.
The Zordon special
and that is a special effect in a 1993 TV show. Okay? All right, let's
I had to take back myself there. I was like, damn, that's 1993. That's some good special effects for real. It's basically the same thing you have now, 20 years later. Well, 30 years later.
But it's very weird now how special effects has progressed and yet regressed at the same time. So
because most time it's rushed most times.
And, it's rushed, exactly. Yeah. It's like the Obi-Wan series. There are shots.
I didn't watch it.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. You're not
same thing. AJ, it's the same thing. AJ said.
Yeah, I mean, what can I tell you? Obi-Wan forgets how to do everything, and
that's it.
Yeah.
All right. Good summary.
Yeah, that's it. He forgets how to do the Force. He forgets his training. He forgets how to be a general. Uh he just goes around. Little Leia has to pull him around, and then Leia runs around. But and that's it. That's the show.
Gotcha.
Anyways, so okay, so the whole point was for Gore to get to this point,
Yes.
to go through the door to get
Use
to
the Bifrost
right. Yes, because he needed the axe to get the Bifrost to the
to
thing.
Portal. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, cool. So he gets there, and I'm thinking this whole time, why don't you just
Wish for your daughter to come back.
just don't kill any gods.
Just wish for your daughter.
As soon as you find out what the Oblivion, that's what it's called, right? The Oblivion.
I think so.
Why didn't he just say, hey, Thor, I kind of want to bring my daughter back. Maybe you could use it too. I mean, you can wish your mom back. You can wish your father back. You can
I
wish
think
your
it was only
it was
like
one
the
wish per
first-
person, or
yeah. Well, not per person. I think it's just the person that opens the door. So even though Thor came in afterwards, it was just whoever came through the door first, or whoever opened the door. Thor didn't technically open the door. Pale did.
but still, he didn't have to kill any gods at all. He could have just went to Thor first,
That would have been too easy.
because there would be no movie.
Exactly.
But in doing
And then
so,
we wouldn't have the love. Or is it thunder? Which one is the kid?
the kid
Love?
is the
Love?
kid is the okay. So Thor gets a daughter somehow, because he basically takes care of Gore's daughter after Gore wishes her back,
Yes.
and so he has a daughter now.
Yeah, that's it.
And then
A
that's-
daughter that's never been, we don't even know. Like, she's not even a real character.
Does she even have powers? Like, what is she?
She has powers, apparently.
Why?
I don't know.
Where is she from?
I don't know.
What she
My answer is I don't know.
like? We understand where Gore gets his powers. He gets his powers from the Necrosword.
From the
which,
yes.
yes,
That made
which-
him have his powers, yes.
yeah.
But I think they said something to do because the fact that she was wished, some foolish response that she got powers because of how she was resurrected or something like that. I don't know. I have to check on it. It didn't make
I
any
don't know.
sense to me.
Yeah, I don't get it. Okay, so back to Jane. She
Right.
gets the hammer. She does a pretty cool thing where the hammer sort of splits apart and then comes back together.
That was
That
pretty
was
cool.
awesome.
That was pretty
I love
cool.
that.
Yeah.
I love
I
that.
didn't. Oh, as you say that, I did not like the fact that they had this love story where he was with Thor and the hammer and Stormbreaker. I hated that.
You do that
the
joke once.
Stormbreaker, like the first time when he was trying to like pull it in, it's like, come to daddy, and then Stormbreaker comes in. He said, "Cool, all right, cool. That was funny, right?"
He's great. Like,
right?
the joke was great.
funny. Yeah, but you don't continue. Like, you're giving Stormbreaker bear. You're trying to seem like you have this love affair with the Stormbreaker, and it's like a relationship trio. Like, you saw that there's my ex, you're my new love, and I'm trying to get back my ex. That kind of thing. That's what it made it seem like.
Well, this is
And I
sort
thought
of
it was
the problem.
unnecessary.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. This is what the problem is with I think modern comedies, is where they have a joke. It could be a funny joke, but they run that joke into the ground. Okay,
Yeah.
like all they needed was, like, Thor goes up to the hammer and he asks, "So, are we good?" And then cut away. That's all you need. We don't need all of this, like, riffing, and that's what killed the Transformers movies for me, because they were just trying to be funny on the fly and it wasn't working.
It was unnecessary.
Yeah.
I didn't understand why it had to last so long.
Yeah. Just all of the jokes just felt like it was just going on and on and on. And
you know the director's cut is basically 4 hours of jokes, right? Marvel insisted that this movie was under 2 hours. This movie was basically almost 3 to 4 hours of jokes.
I mean, they kind of had that with they had. I think they want to cut their movies. They don't want to have like long movies. I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think they only want the long movies for if it's the big ones like the Avengers or something like that.
Right.
They want the shorter ones to be like on under 2 hours.
Yeah, but you do cut out like a lot of. I think that the movies don't really allow themselves to breathe. It's just on to the next scene, on to the next scene. No time to slow down. No time. We got to go to the next plot point.
There's no pace. There's no pace.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that I saw and I learned from Zack Snyder is that pace is critical in a movie, especially like one of his best movies that he's done, which was the Man of Steel.
Yeah,
one of the best superheroes he's done is Man of Steel. It was a great movie.
But
not the best Superman movie, but it's a good superhero movie.
But bringing up Zack Snyder, I do think he does get a bit like you don't want the movie to get too overbearing in terms of its length, because then you're sort of boring your audience.
Exactly.
Like at the end of Batman v Superman, I knew in my head Superman's going to be back in the next one. I'm not even sweating it. It's whatever. He gets, spear through the heart. Flesh wound. He gonna walk that off. Don't worry about it. The funeral goes on for what feels like another 15 minutes. It goes way too long. Like they got cannons.
That was the setup to the Justice League, right?
Yeah, which is fine. I like that little part at the end where Ben Affleck and Wonder Woman, they were kind of Batman and Wonder Woman, they were just explaining what we need to do because there's a war coming and all this stuff is like, oh shit, Justice League. But when you have like these ongoing sequences where I get the point. You don't have to, keep just like blowing cannons and slowly moving hearses, and the casket gets lowered into the ground. Like, I get it.
He likes his slow motion shots. If you take out most of his slow motion shots, you save about half an hour.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that's
the only thing that's the only problem I have with Zack. Too many slow motions.
Yeah, I would say that. I think my problem with those movies, which I wouldn't completely blame him on, is the scripts. The scripts weren't really that great, but that's completely other.
Awful.
Yeah, they're not that good. But if Zack Snyder would have done a page by page adaptation of The Dark Knight Returns, the Frank Miller graphic novel, if he did a scene by scene of that, I wouldn't have had any problems. I would have loved it because I think Watchmen is one of my favorite.
One of my favorite comic book movies of all time.
It's really good. A lot of people,
fantastic movie. It's underrated only because people don't know who the Watchmen are, so they don't really think. But I think if it came out now, it would be great.
I think because of Zack Snyder's movie, people know who the Watchmen are. I don't even like the show that David Lindelof did. I think that's another mystery.
Yeah, I didn't.
It's another mystery box thing, which I'm not a fan of.
It's okay.
But in terms of like that long pace, I think the Batman really suffers from, like, I would have liked that movie a lot better if it was 2 hours, 30 minutes, or 2 hours, 2 hours and 15 minutes. Let's say that, because just cut out all of those scenes where Batman is just slowly walking into a room. Batman's not that guy. He doesn't walk in slowly to a room. He doesn't. He takes you out. He uses his Batarang, hits you he appears behind you and he takes you out. He's a stealth. He's a ninja. He's a billionaire ninja. This whole thing where it's like, oh,
Two words that
yeah,
don't normally go together.
that's true. That's what he is, though. He comes in, he beats everybody up, he drops a smoke bomb, and he's out. That's
out.
Batman. That's Batman. Him walking in and just punching people, and I'm like, nah.
But to be fair, it's in another universe.
And it's only his second year. I'm not going to be too hard on him. I still like the movie. My wife hates it. My brother hates it. I'm the one who's more positive on it because I just like to.
I don't have a problem with it.
It's not bad.
You can see he's young in the game still.
Who?
Batman.
The Patman.
Yeah, he's not the greatest detective.
Oh my god! When he he got a bad clue. He read a clue wrong because he didn't know Spanish. I was like, come on, man.
Yeah, and it wasn't even just that. It was like the pictures of when Catwoman was seen, in the back with the boots.
Yeah.
Like you have the pictures. Look at the angle of the pictures. You go to the place where the pictures were taken. It's like, okay, they were taken from here. Because the Riddler was in the room the whole time.
Yeah.
Because you can see in shots, they zoom out sometimes, and you would see that he was just in the room, chilling. So if you went there, maybe you would have found him. It was just simple things like that. There's
certain things. If you're like a Batman fan, there's certain expectations. There's certain things you want from a Batman. You want him to be that guy that is the smartest man in the room. He's not the most powerful man in the room, but he's the smartest man in the room. He knows how to take you out.
Correct.
He already has it in his mind how he's gonna, where are all the exits, how things work. That's just who my version of Batman in my head. That is who I want Batman to be. And anything, like I would even give it to Ben Affleck's Batman. I think he uses like a lot of military grade equipment. He knows how to fight. He when he was in that underground fighting arena area, he tells the fighter, go for his whatever, and that's how you take him out. That is one of the best scenes in Batman history, sir. It's, oh my god, I can't, like, Zack Snyder, he got it right. He got it right for that one little moment.
Just that little thing.
He got it.
Yeah.
It's the little things. It's the little things like that. I appreciate
that's all that matters.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
I mean, and sure, that Batman kills people, but they were really bad people. They were hitmen. They were.
He's sure that kills people. Yeah, he does kill people.
But he doesn't kill them. But he does. Normally, Batman would, if you get in his way, he will allow you to die. But this Batman would like, no, I'm putting this knife in you.
Yeah.
I'm taking your life, son.
Death.
Which is fine. But anyways, Thor sucks.
Basically.
Is there anything more we need to say about it? Anything,
Hercules is coming?
Yeah. You have you ever seen Ted Lasso? That's where the Hercules actor is from.
Oh, that's where he's from.
Yeah.
Some skinny guy?
Well, yeah, he's got a football build, a football player's build. And so yeah, he got really big for that. Or it could be CG because Natalie Portman's arms are CGI.
Really?
Yeah.
Come on, son.
You thought they were real? You thought they were real?
She worked out a little. Come on, I thought she worked out a little.
Little Natalie Portman.
I thought she did like a Brie Larson, Captain Marvel.
Yo, Brie Larson was not big. Toned. Brie Larson wasn't big. Don't even.
Well, she wasn't big. She was toned.
But Natalie Portman got toned. But she's a small body person. You can't build that muscle that fast. Like that, like you need a frame to like you need a Gina Carano frame.
Ooh,
you know what I mean? Because Gina Carano's like
Gina got a nice frame. Yes, for that.
Yeah, I was because she was a bit smaller when she was doing like Fast and Furious and
Yes.
was it Haywire?
And
The movies that she did before.
Haywire was good though.
That was, oh my God, Gina's my girl, man.
It was a solid movie for someone who's unknown.
Yeah, that was her breakout. I think that was I gotta watch that again. But yeah, Gina's my girl, and I don't care if you all want to cancel her. She's still great.
She's good.
Leave my girl alone. but
So
anyways, but yeah, what's your last thoughts on Thor?
It sucked. I'll give it a solid 4 out of 10.
I'll be kind and give it a 5 because I think the acting is pretty good. I like Thor. I like Chris Hemsworth in this. I like Natalie Portman. She really did her role pretty well, even though the writing is like all over the place. The jokes kill it.
The jokes were the killing part of the whole movie.
Yeah, like I thought it was
apart from the poor plot. Apart from that,
I thought it was going to be better than like I thought when I came out of it. I thought, well, it wasn't as bad as Doctor Strange, but now looking back, I think Doctor Strange was better.
Doctor Strange was okay.
Yeah. There's a lot I didn't like.
It was a lot. It was a setup movie. You know, just like the other Strange is not dead.
True. Yeah, it was a setup movie. I think that's what I kind of got upset over it, and I didn't like how. Movie? Yeah, that and Doctor Strange.
It was an extended WandaVision.
Yes.
Right, with set up for the next Strange movie, because the Strange that where Wanda went, he's not dead.
Right, because he's still, his eye opened up again, right? Or am I mixing it up?
No. The Strange in the what universe are they in? The normal one, the main Strange. His eye opened up, but he learned how to use it. Okay. Right, but I'm talking about the one where they screamed him to death.
Yeah. It's still a messy.
I think he's still alive.
Okay.
He probably be the next. I think he's going to be the next villain.
All right. Well, we'll see. But yeah, I think that movie is better than Thor 4. I think Thor 4 kind of sinks every time I think about it. It just sinks lower in my list of Marvel movies. It might be the worst one. Now that I think about it, it's just, it seems rushed. I mean,
who you got above it? Iron Man 3?
Yeah, I got Iron Man 3 over this one.
Okay. All right, cool.
Eternals. I'll put Eternals above it.
That's just a buffer movie, by the way.
Yeah.
There was nothing there.
The only thing I liked in that was Kingo, Kumail Nanjiani, and the last fight. It was like The Incredibles, but in live action, and that's it.
That makes sense. It was like The Incredibles in live action. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And they wasted a really good villain in that too, like Bill Skarsgård. I think it's Bill. It's one of the Skarsgårds. I assume it's Bill. Yeah. He was really good. He was a good villain, and they completely wasted him.
Well, they waste a lot of villains that are good these days.
Oh yeah, well, there you go. But I didn't hate Eternals.
I didn't like it.
I didn't
like it and I didn't hate it. I saw it. I don't
remember it. Like, I don't remember it.
There's nothing to remember.
They
had a love scene.
Right. That's the one. Yeah.
That's the only one with a love scene.
Even that
was not really a love scene.
Yeah, but Iron Man 1, Tony Stark slept with what's her face.
It was on TV. Was it shown on the screen?
Well, okay. There was no penetration.
There was barely any penetration on that one.
There was a little bit of
something.
There was humping going on. Marvel is for kids, guys. That's great.
Let's remember that.
Yeah.